Very good morning to everybody. As Thomas says, my name's Dee Gerrish and I'm a business consultant with Clear Vision Accountancy. And I'm joined here this morning by Matthew Rogers, who is an accountant, business advisor also, and actually director of Clear Vision. And you're going to hear a little bit from both of us today. I'm sort of going to host things and do the bulk of it, but I'm going to call on Matt's sort of financial expertise as we go along at a few points too. So I hope that sort of mix of input sounds good to you. Thank you for coming this morning. It's a lovely morning to get out and about, isn't it, and come out. And so I'd like to say thank you, but I'd also actually like to congratulate you. And that is because we do recognise and we do hold our hands up. We're aware that when you see a couple of people from an accountancy company on a schedule to speak, that it might not be the most appealing thing in the world, given the sort of the stereotype and the history of what people think of accountants. Well, if that was you, we understand that, we get it. But if that was you, I think you'll be pleased to hear that we're not going to drown you with jargon and with counts and numbers today. Numbers is what we do. It's a tool we use to help the business owners that we help. But as I think you'll see, it's not actually what we're all about. That's my hope anyway. So let's have a look at what we're going to cover today. We've called it You and Your Business or Your Business and You. And these are the areas that we're going to touch on. Today's chapters, if you will. A little bit of scene setting, first of all, and that's going to involve you doing something for me as well. That'll just take a few moments just to set things up. Then we're going to talk about your business and you. And as we see it, that is the more traditional way of planning and running your business. And we'll tell you what we mean by that in a little while, and you'll be able to think about that briefly. And that's before we get on to you and your business, which is the way that we certainly recommend and we feel passionate about helping business owners to plan and run their business in that way. So we'll expand on that a little bit further. And looking at that particular model, the sort of more newer model of thinking about your business, we're also going to finish up with a little bit of numbers talk, just a little bit about how you can measure your progress once you have perhaps, should you need to, shifted your focus to you and your business. So I hope that little rundown looks appetizing to you. So let's start by setting the scene. We propose to you, and we're here to share a message that we're very much passionate about, Matt and I, and our team. Lucy's here today too. That message is basically that there's an old way and a new way of planning for your goals and setting goals and planning for your business. And the old way is your business and you, in that order. And the new way, if you like, is you and your business. Putting you first before you think about your business. Not in a way that puts your customer service or what you do for your customers at risk or your business at risk. But in the way that keeps you happy, motivated and fulfilled by what you do with your work. And let's face it, when you are feeling happy, motivated and fulfilled in what you do, you're actually in a better position to serve your customers and to achieve the goals for your business. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And you start to realise how important it is to shift the focus in that order to you and your business when you think about this question. And it's perhaps a question that we don't ask ourselves as business owners all that often, but I'm going to encourage you to do so. So I'm going to encourage you now to have a think about, why do you have your own business? Why do you have your own business? It's actually easy in some ways, surely, to be an employee. You get paid holiday. You get a definite salary rate. You don't have to deal with all the different compliance issues with running a business, all the reporting and all the duties that you have as a business owner. You don't necessarily, some of you will have team members, you don't necessarily have to deal with sort of issues between team members. So I wonder if you do something with me now. Yes, I'm going to ask you at this early stage to actually take part here. If you will. I want you to pair up with someone next to you, or perhaps make a three if you need to. So have a look around, see who you can speak to. And I'm going to give you 4 minutes just to tell each other why you have your own business. I'm going to suggest a few things that you might have talked about in your discussions just then, and you can let me know whether I'm on the right track. And you will get a chance to add anything else that I haven't thought about afterwards. So my first thought even goes to, perhaps you spoke about making a difference to your customers. and the difference that your products or services or service makes to your customer. I've got someone shaking their head. We'll come on to that. There's the selfish bit, fair enough, we'll come on to that. But if I put mad customers, I don't necessarily mean your customers are mad, making a difference to your customers, or clients, or whatever you tend to call them. Did anybody speak along those lines? Did anyone speaking about their customers at all? A few people thinking about that? We'll come on to the other stuff. I know there would have been other stuff as well. When you think about your customers, I would imagine, and I think perhaps certainly Tom and Alex might have brought this up, but actually being of service to the wider community as well. So for some businesses, why they do what they do is not just for the direct customers they have, but actually, yes, some nods in this corner, I thought there would be. We're sat right now in a very community-based business, aren't we? So I'm pleased to see some nods going on when we talk about community. And maybe you talked about being able to steer your own ship, to be able to do what you do for yourself and in your own way, rather than under the constraints of working for someone else. Someone nodding over here. Did anyone talk about doing it their way? That was more about what you were talking about there. Fair enough. So I put do it my way. There's a song there somewhere. That's another reason. Okay. And also, let's come on to the more personal stuff now. It's important, isn't it, when you're thinking about why you do what you do and why you have your own business. Did anyone speak about being able to use their particular passion and talents, and perhaps in the past give up something that they were less passionate about in order to concentrate on what they love? I know there's a friend of mine there sat in the corner, a few nods that would agree with that. Use of your passion and your talents. And of course, maybe some of you spoke about the ability to decide when you're going to work and to set your own hours and to have that flexibility. We've got a few nods over here already. So if we put up when you're going to work. And perhaps, did anybody ever speak about what work they do? So actually being able to choose what work you're going to take on and what work you aren't. We've got a few nods in this corner. So not only choosing when you work, but what work you're actually going to do. Anyone talk about their family and the benefits that they have of running their own business to their family? Yes? So perhaps that's the flexibility to be there for your family a little bit more, and it connects to these two, doesn't it? When you work and what you're going to do when you work. And obviously, you have the potential, we were saying the flip side of the argument for being an employee is that you get a fixed salary most of the time, but actually having the potential, if your business goes well and you've got your own business, to actually increase your salary. Did anybody talk about the financial aspects of it? You're allowed to talk about the financial aspects of it. So there is obviously the potential of increasing your salary as well. Were there any other areas that anybody, that I haven't sort of captured there? We've had some nods for all of these ones. Was there anything else that anyone can add that doesn't come under any of these areas? Offering something different. So, yeah, okay. Would that sort of, I'll put it up for the customer bit here then. So, would that be sort of the opportunity in the market that isn't there to sort of...
You can create a much better relationship, I think, with clients if you're a big company, because you tend to get passed through a big company, and as we were discussing this now, the people you see when a company goes to another company is actually to do with those people you never see them again.
Yes, the more personal. Is it sort of personal touch? Is that, could I summarise that saying the personal touch and personal relationship, or yeah. Something different to the personal relationship? Okay. Sort of more direct service. Very good, I love that one.
A sense of success.
Fantastic, having a sense of success. So a little bit about sort of being able to do it your own way, and therefore we'll put that down as well. Some fantastic things coming out there. Thank you for those. Thank you for adding on to my list there. So we've got quite a strong list of motivators for having your own business there, I think. And naturally they sort of split between what you do for your customers and for the outside world and what you yourself get out of it. And as we carry on with our sort of little presentation today, I want you to keep that combination of factors in mind. Okay, so we've set the scene by thinking about why we have our own business. Now here's an interesting picture that we had prepared, and we had it prepared because we sometimes meet business owners who feel like this, really. So there's a possibility that when you're running your business, you have no clear route, you're feeling very blindfolded in terms of being able to achieve your personal goals and having a clear route to doing so as you run your business. For some business owners, the work-life balance isn't there and their business starts to take up too much of their lives. And also there's a possibility that there's no clear route to your business vision. You've got a vision, but taking it from A to B or A to B to C is not clear in your mind in terms of development of your business to get to where you want it to be. And then for some people, and I put myself in this category, not being an accountant, I work with many numbers experts, but I am not one. So it's more of a challenge for me to get my head around the numbers involved with running a business and having clarity on the financial side of things. So we're going to go and look a bit further into this situation with you and your business and the traditional way of setting goals, and that's where I hand over to Matt for a brief while. There we go.
Good morning, everybody. I expect that most people in the room with our own businesses do set goals at the start of each year. And those goals probably, in terms of how we financially map those, take what we deem a traditional approach, where we start with a turnover target, probably referencing the turnover that was achieved in previous years, looking at secured workload, expected repeat custom to get us to that figure. We then look at the direct costs of delivering those sales, any overheads, looking at our overheads of the previous year, perhaps increasing those across the piece, or looking at those on a line-by-line basis and take into account any new events that we might need to commit spend and investment to over the coming 12 months. And then from that, a net profit figure inevitably falls out. And it's from that net profit figure that you, as business owner, are left to fund your personal requirements. In that situation, though, the other stakeholders within your business, namely your customers, your suppliers, and your team, they're all looked after. But my question with that traditional method is, what about you? It might just be by chance that the net profit that's left over in your business at the end of the year via that traditional method is sufficient to allow you the money you need to live your life in the way you want to live it. Very often, though, putting yourself last in the queue in the businesses we look after tends to bring with it pain in the form of money pressure. So what I'm going to propose this morning is reversing that traditional model, turning that model on its head and starting with you and relating that to your business. So let's have a look at the mechanics of that. So as I said on the previous slide, it starts with you. It starts with you sitting down and considering the money that you require to run your house, run your hobbies, run your children's activities, run your motor cars, and also includes scheduling out any one-off personal goals that you want to achieve over the next 12 months. That might be we want to take 3 holidays this year instead of 1 that we took last year. It might be that we need to invest £5,000 in getting the garden sorted out. That extrapolates up into a sum of money, your personal financial forecast. From there, we relate that and link it to your business. Adding on to that sum of money, your business costs, so your business overheads, your business cost of sales, any indicative tax liabilities that you may have, to arrive at a target level of turnover that your business needs to achieve for the next 12 months to deliver everything that you require to serve you. Our focus then moves to the turnover that we need to hit, breaking that down into obviously an annual target, a monthly target, a weekly, even a daily target, and then considering the sales and marketing strategy that you need to put in place to achieve that. And it's on that note that I'll hand you back to Dee, because the sales and marketing is an area in which she works with our clients. Dee.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Thanks for that. So yes, let's have a look at how you can start in very simple terms to form and deliver on a plan to achieve that turnover target that Matt's just spoken to you about. So that's the turnover target to serve your business and your customers and your suppliers, but also yourself. Also have enough money to achieve your personal goals and personal ambitions. And I think it's fair to say that any strategy of this sort for your business is going to be unique to you and your business, just as you and your business are unique. And you're going to have growth strategies and channels for new business and growth of business that are specific to the nature of your business or the sector that you're in. And you'll know more about those and be more au fait with those than I will. But what I want to share with you now is 2 steps, if you like, 2 principles that you can follow no matter the nature or the sector that you're actually in. And the first one is what I call mind the gap. So for some people here, I know, you'll have some customers or clients that you retain. And as long as you keep doing well by them, they come back to you year after year and they stay with you. And so a portion of that turnover pie, if you like, is taken up by recurring income from your existing customers. But that's not the case for everybody, is it? And for most people, there will at least be a slice of that pie that they need to plan for each year. So let's have a look at in very simple terms. And I know there's some marketing experts in the room now, so you'll appreciate that I'm going over sort of fundamental areas here. But I think it's a useful reminder for everybody nonetheless. So one area that you might think about to help fill that gap of turnover is looking at recommendations from your existing customers. So there are very few businesses in the world who can't benefit from their existing customers talking to new people about them, as long as obviously that experience of working with you is a positive one. So have a think about what strategy you have for harnessing that potential of your existing customers talking about you, to more people more often. What are you going to do to help and inspire them to do that? Thinking about our existing customers is another side that we can think about, which is what else can we provide to them that we're not already providing? Maybe it's something we already provide that they don't know about, or maybe it's something we can develop and put into our business offering that they would benefit from and that they need and want. And that in marketing terminology is called cross-sell strategy or something similar. Of course, it's not just your existing customers who can bring you new business. We use the term introducers, and by that I mean other business owners, other types of businesses that are allied to your own, who can talk about you and recommend you to others as well. We act as introducers for our clients. As accountants, you can understand that we've got a wide client base, and we quite often find ourselves introducing client to client. So have a think about the people who are not necessarily your customers. They might even be your family, your contacts, your personal contacts, and see if you can come up with a strategy that helps harness that side of things and encouraging them to speak about you more often to more people. Big one nowadays, obviously the digital side of things, and I've lumped website and social media together simply because for most businesses they use social media to drive more traffic to the website, and that tends to act as the hub for your online presence. So what can you do to bring more customer, to bring a bigger slice of the turnover gap that you need from your website and from your social media and digital activities? Have a think about that too. Walk-bys. I know some people here are lucky enough not just to have an online presence, but actually a physical presence, a physical shop front, if you like, whether it's an office or a shop or what have you. And that is some real estate as well. That is something to think about. We all tend to go through life really walking along with our noses in our mobile phones. So how are you, if you do have that physical office, going to inspire people and impel them to look up from their phones and take notice of your business as they walk by it? I put this one on the end because I think everybody here, by virtue of the fact that you're at an event this morning and you know that you have a chance to network and meet people at it, will be aware of the potential of events and networking. So what events are you going to go for? What events are you going to go to? What's going to be, how many are you going to go to? What type of events, and what's going to be your approach in doing so? And the important point here to note is to not leave it to chance. That's my message here. To think about all the potential ways that you can complete that pie of your turnover through all the different channels that you have, rather than leaving it to luck or by chance and hoping that new business will come your way. Actually think about each one individually so that you come up with a combined marketing strategy. So we did, having looked at how you can swing the process of thinking and planning about your business, as Matt went through, to you first and then your business. Should you need to go that way, we want to finish off by looking at measurements. And this brings in my second step that I was going to go through, and that is to measure your progress. Once you've set your marketing strategy, your sales and marketing strategy, the targets for all the different areas that you're going to target new business from, it's important to measure your progress on those targets. Now, measurements tend to come in two forms, non-financial and financial. And sort of my side of things is the non-financial things. I'm going to cover those briefly now before I hand over Matt to go back to the financials. So we put that one first because basically it's the non-financial activities and the non-financial success that you have that drive your financial performance. Every business has to measure certain numbers, things like turnover, profit, cost of sales, and Matt's going to talk about some of those, because it's the law. You need to produce a certain number of financial measurements to HMRC, to Companies House, and people like us help you do that. But actually, when you think about it, those types of numbers are simply outputs. They're historical, they've already happened. When you get a set of accounts or a set of results for your business, it's in the past by the time you see it, and you can no longer influence it. So what I would suggest is actually thinking about measuring the things that influence those financial results. They are simply a consequence of everyday activities. So what are those everyday activities? Well, when you start to think about non-financial numbers, your mind tends to go, and I'm guessing, to areas like this. Where are my new leads? That's quite a formal word. It just really is opportunities. Where are the opportunities for new business coming from? How many have I got? What new customers have I converted? What else have I given my existing customers? And that type of non-financial measurement. But even when you think about these numbers, they're still what I call outputs. They're still a result of other activities. And I would urge you to think about, delve a little bit deeper and think about a line underneath these types of numbers. And what are the input measurements that influence the new customers you get, the new leads that you get for expanding your business. And then subsequently, the new leads and the more new customers influencing the top line financial results. So let me give you an example of that. One of the sources on the slide before was website and social media and that type of area of growth for businesses. And I want you to imagine that you're getting at the moment 3 new orders or new customers, whatever it may be, from your website. And when you're considering you and your business marketing strategy, you actually want 5. So what are the input measurement, what is the input activity that you can take that 3 per month to 5 per month? Now, a lot of people here will appreciate that with your websites, in order to get more traffic to your website and have the potential of converting more work through your website, you need to be higher in the rankings on Google and Co. And one thing that Google and Co look at is having a dynamic website where new content is added to it, and it's worth them coming back and re-indexing is what they call it. They send out their spiders to have a look at your website. So what I mean by an input measurement, to take it from the 3 per month to the 5 per month, might be as simple as setting a goal of, say, upping 1 blog that you put on your website per month to 2 blogs. To get Google to come back, to index it more often, you go up in the Google rankings and subsequently get more traffic to your website and have the chance to convert more business, taking that 3 to 5 per month. So that's what I mean by input measurements. And have a think about, delve down a little bit deeper from your financials, from your new customer figures and so on, to say what are the actions and the targets that I need to set at activity level that will drive and influence everything up above the line. Now that's a very quick way of going through that, and you'll appreciate in a presentation such as this, we can't look into that in a great deal of detail. So if you want to discuss what the inputs for your business might be, I'm always here, and you can contact me after the session as well. So, other types of measurements, and certainly certain financial key measurements to keep track of as well. And Matt's going to take you through those.
Thanks,
Over
Dee.
to you, Matt.
So we've looked at setting goals for your business for the year ahead, starting with you and expressing that in terms of a financial forecast. And our focus now turns to ensuring and plotting and assessing where we are against that plan as we journey towards our goals. So some of the key measurements that I would suggest that you want to capture regularly against budget, and I would suggest this is done via management accounts, management information, however you like to see it, on a frequency that you want it, whether it be quarterly, I would suggest as a minimum, or monthly at best. Your sales numbers, so how are we doing year to date versus where we need to be? What's our rate of take-up of new customers? How many leads are we getting through? How many customers have we lost? And what are the reasons for that? Looking at our direct cost of sale and our gross margin. Is that on track? Or have some of our suppliers sneakily put prices up, which is eating away at our margin? That requires then action. Is it a renegotiation with our suppliers or an attempt to renegotiate our prices with our suppliers? Or maybe does it prompt us to look at our customer base, whether we need to increase our own prices, maybe reassess who our ideal client is and the type of work that we're taking on. Overheads, it's an obvious one. Areas where we're overspending, underspending. Do we need to reprofile any of that as we move forward for new decisions or new information which may have come to light since we did our financial forecast at the start of the year? Importantly, break even. Very useful reference to have as a business owner. Break-even point is the minimum level of sales that your business requires to cover all of its costs. In cash terms, to cover all of its costs, plus servicing any debt and finance repayments you may have in your business, together with the money that you require from your business to live off, whether that be in the form of drawings, sole trader, or if you're paying yourself dividends in the case of a limited company. And finally, EBITDA growth. So EBITDA is effectively an adjusted net profit figure. It actually stands for earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. And it's a useful reference point, this adjusted net profit figure, because in many business sectors, it's used as a reference point for valuing your businesses. So if you have a plan or a goal to exit your business in a certain number of years, I would suggest it's quite important to plot the growth or the movement in your EBITDA, especially if at the end of that, your business life, you are expecting a certain level of valuation from your business. The beauty of this management information is it enables you to take action. This forecast only serves its purpose in the way we've talked about this morning if you monitor and assess your progress versus that forecast and you have access to timely, accurate management information allowing you to take action when you need to do so. And on that note, I'll hand you back to Dee to finish up this morning's session.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. So I hope we've provided, it's been a quick run through as these presentations have to be really. We've managed to touch on a few different concepts for you. And I hope it's provided food for thought and that the time you spent listening to us has been of value to you. And I'd like to finish up just with a thought. And that thought is really, the decision really is up to you. If you find yourself planning for your business in what we call the old way, the more traditional way, and sort of putting your business first and seeing whether there's enough at the end of the day for you to serve your personal goals as well. Have a think about whether that is enough and whether that is serving and getting everything that you need from your business for you and for your family. Or whether you need to consider the new way of actually putting yourself first and thinking about your own goals and your own needs from your business to get what you want and need from it. And whether it would be worth thinking about that new way in order to get what you want for your business, to achieve your business goals, and also realise the reasons that we went through, first of all, of why you have your business in the first place. Matt and I are sticking around this morning. We're not going to race off. And as I say, we've touched on a few certain things today. So if you'd like to discuss them in more detail, please do let us know today or after the event. We're always happy to speak to business.